Aston Villa and Hamburg are in a three-way shootout with Ajax in the UEFA Cup tonight. The target, the best draw when the chase resumes next year. Live UEFA Cup football from Setanta Sports again this evening. We go to Germany as the group action concludes, as Hamburg and Aston Villa meet to look for top spot. And top spot is well worth taking, with all eyes already on the search for silverware in the new year. The group winners will avoid the Champions League cast-offs in the knockout stages and should give themselves the best chance of making further progress. Former Villa boss Brian Little is back with us alongside Brian Kerr this evening. Great to have your company, gentlemen. Are things as rosy at Villa as they appear?
Oh, I think every bit, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, every Villa fan I speak to. My window cleaner was round this morning telling me how delighted
he was looking for his Christmas money.
Yeah, you know, they're all really absolutely over the moon, just to use an old footballing phrase. They just can't believe it. I think Arsenal's poor form has pushed them up a place further than they probably hoped to be. What's the attitude tonight going into this one?
Well, Martin has said he doesn't care how they do tonight, what the result will be.
Do we believe it?
No, but the team he's picked, it looks like he's been...
There'll be a certain
he's
prestige.
Carefree about it. I think his attitude is he's bigger fish to fry in the next couple of weeks before the end of the year. They've got three big games: West Ham, Arsenal, Hull, before we come into 2009. And if they can stay in third place in the league, going into a run of games with West Brom, Sunderland and Portsmouth after that, I can understand his approach. He's, so far in this competition, we've covered the games and we've had the good, the bad and the indifferent. Very good against Ajax, okay against Prague and poor against Alina last time out.
It's been a test of the depth of the squad, which is one of the big debates about Villa. Has this group stood up to the test so far?
Well, I think once, you know, when he played Ajax early doors, he played his best team, got the result he wanted, and then he's been able to adopt this policy. And I think his mentality is, he's qualified now. His best team have already drawn with Man United. His best team have already beaten Arsenal away. I don't think he really cares about who he plays in the next phase of this, and I think he's quite prepared to play this team at this point in time.
It was an eye-catching full debut last time out in this competition. We saw it on Setanta Sports against Alina. Nathan Delfonso, in again tonight. Well,
they've always had a reputation, you know, for years now, Villa, of producing great youth sides with good players coming through. And this lad looks to follow on in the pack. I mean, that's a great goal, you know. I mean, I expected him to score goals because he has a reputation, but I thought he might be sneaking goals. But this is a good volley from outside the box, and for a striker to open your goal-scoring chart with a goal like that, Brian,
it's a great opportunity for him to play in a competitive game. What happens at some of the bigger clubs is the younger players don't get the opportunity because they're full on trying to win the Champions League or the Premier League, whatever it is. But he has had the opportunity in this competition to try them, and they've rewarded them quite well so far.
It is ideal from that point of view, isn't it? In a UEFA Cup tie, quite a high-profile game, and certainly in Germany it would be considered as that you get a teenager up from the youth team, essentially.
I mean,
You're going to find out a lot about him, aren't you?
Hamburg are only 2 points off the top of the German league at the moment. They're in the same position as Villa in fourth place, where Villa are 7 points off the top. So Hamburg have had an exceptional home record this year, and they've put out what I would think is nearly their strongest team tonight. So they have a different attitude. So it will be a real good test of some of these players.
Does it count as a scalp for Hamburg, this?
I think they will look at it. I think Martin Joel's approach is slightly different. He's saying, I want to finish first. We want to be in the first position and play a third place team. I don't think Villa definitely haven't got that outlook. Hamburg surprisingly haven't done well in their 2 home games so far, but I think tonight they might have too much for Villa.
The other thing, of course, the relative difference in structure in the game, Premier League and England compared to Germany. This is the last first choice game that Hamburg will play until the 30th of January.
Yeah,
so they're going to send their public away for the winter.
Well, the
quite happily,
mentality
haven't they?
is completely. I agree with Brian 100%. I think both sides have a different agenda tonight. If Martin gets something out of the game, I think he knows he's going to get a real boost for all of those players out there. And psychologically, he feels whoever he plays in the next phase, he's ready for them. So I think it's going to be an interesting night.
Thank you both. The winter break is upon them in Germany. As I mentioned, the Pause comes next. But first, for Hamburg, they look to send the people home happy for Christmas with the UEFA Cup win tonight. Manchester United's adventure in the Far East is about to get underway. They meet Gamba Osaka in the semi-final of the FIFA Club World Cup, and you can see it with Setanta Sports tomorrow morning, 10:25. There are repeats in the evening at 6:30 and 9 p.m. tomorrow. If United do come through that one, we'll be bringing you the final on Sunday morning live also. Here's how the rest of Christmas shapes up with us. In the Premier League, Hull City and Sunderland first up on Saturday afternoon. That's the first of two games. We follow with West Ham against Aston Villa. And the other outstanding fixture of the weekend, Everton-Chelsea, scheduled for Monday night next at 7. Rangers and Celtic in Scotland, the game that stands out above all others, of course, Saturday, December the 27th from 11:30 a.m. And United back to Premier League duty to meet Middlesbrough at Old Trafford on Monday night, December the 29th. We're live in Germany in the UEFA Cup this evening. Hamburg hosting Aston Villa. Top spot in Group F would be a pleasing way to go into the knockout stage. But Ajax, who play Slavia Prague elsewhere, could deny both of them. Brian Little, former Villa boss, is with us, alongside Brian Kerr. Your thoughts?
Well, I think Villa have made their mind up, and I'd like to see them go out there with an attacking option and in an attacking plan. Because, as I've said, I think Hamburg, in this competition at least, have proven they're not at their best at home. So I think if they're brave, it could be a good night for them.
Two very good front players, Croatian front players, Petric and Olic, would be a handful. They're in free scoring form at the moment. I think Carlos Keuler and Zach Knight will have their hands very full in dealing with this pairing. I mean, Martin picks a team like that, it sends out a message to the others that they might want to look after themselves for the Christmas games.
It is ideal nonetheless, though, Brian, isn't it, that Villa get the chance to have a good look at some of these, the likes of maybe Knight, Shorey, who've not really been established fixtures in the first part of the campaign, but might become very important between now and the end of the season.
No, well, Keuler's been playing quite regularly. Zach Knight, not so much in this competition. And the goalkeeper, Guzan, we've seen, again, he's played in in two of the UEFA matches. One of them he played very well, the other one looked a little bit shaky, the American goalkeeper. But I think in terms of the use of the squad and morale within the club, it's very clever use of the players. If they think they're going to get a game, they're going to get a chance, and not just making up the numbers. And I'd say that's absolutely vital, because he is going to have to use the squad over those 3 games over the Christmas period.
Fellas, thank you both very much indeed. For commentary in Germany tonight, Lou Macari and Des Curran.
The wonderful Nordbank Arena, which will host the 2010 UEFA Cup final, is the scene for the meeting of 2 informed clubs seeking to top this UEFA Cup group and in theory earn an easier draw in the New Year knockout rounds. The group winners, as I'm sure you'll know, will face a 3rd place finisher from another UEFA Cup group, with the runners-up drawing one of the 8 sides parachuting down from the Champions League. Hamburg, it would seem, out to give themselves the easiest passage. Villa, according to the manager, will deal with whatever comes their way in February. And Martin O'Neill's selection tonight illustrates that point perfectly. More on that in a moment. The two sides, both 4th in their respective leagues, with very similar records. And Hamburg, the club who succeeded Aston Villa as European champions in the early 80s. So there is a history between the clubs. They can either go on to have a successful European season this campaign. As always at a German arena on a European night, a wonderful atmosphere. The referee for this one comes from Russia, Alexei Nikolaev. And the two captains, David Yarolim on the left, and Nigel Rio-Coker, who wears the captain's armband for a much changed Aston Villa tonight. Villa unbeaten in their last 5 away European games, winning 3 of those. They've never lost away in Europe under Martin O'Neill, but that record should come under intense examination against a Hamburg outfit defeated just once in 11 games here on their home patch this campaign. Martin Jol facing English opposition again. He had a very good record when he was at Tottenham against Villa. Faced them 7 times, beaten just once. Faced Martin O'Neill in 3 of those games and emerged undefeated. And Martin O'Neill has been talking of his admiration for Jol, both as a man and for the job he has done, including here at Hamburg, where they're well positioned in the Bundesliga, heading into that extended winter break. Both sides taking the opportunity before kick-off to go into the pre-match huddle. Some final words of encouragement and some faces in that Villa side who haven't seen much first-team action this season, so they'll be anxious to make a point to their manager. Just 3 of the Villa side have been retained from the weekend. And those Luke Young, Carlos Cuellar and Steve Sidwell. Well, he made the decision to leave some of his established stars at home, including the free-scoring Agbon Lahore and Ashley Young. Will it pay off tonight? Will the fringe players step up and get the result that they need to top this group? Martin Jol, incidentally, sticks with an unchanged side from the weekend's 1-0 win here against Eintracht Frankfurt. And the front two to watch out for, the 2 Croatians, Mladen Petric and Ivica Olic, who between them have scored 24 of Hamburg's 37 goals this season. How do you see this one going, Luke?
I think it'll be a tough game for Aston Villa, Des, but they've done the difficult thing. They've qualified and gives them a chance to play 1 or 2 of the fringe players. Looking forward to seeing the young striker, Nathan Delfonso. Did okay against Zelina, but that was at home. Let's see what he's like away from home.
Olic onto the front foot straight away. And Villa can clear. Big night for Ivica Olic. Could well be his last home game in a Hamburg shirt. Strong and persistent rumours linking him with a move to Bayern Munich in January. Hamburg supporters certainly won't want to see him go. Strong challenge on Marcel Janssen. And Craig Gardner's challenge sufficient to earn Villa a throw-in. We spoke about the goals that Olic and Petric have scored. Of the 5 players Martin O'Neill has left behind, they have contributed 33 of Villa's 45 goals this campaign. So a big onus on Delfonso, the youngster, and Harewood, who between them have just 2 goals this season, to come up with the goods for Villa. Interesting that of the 4, well, the 3 players rather that Martin O'Neill has kept from the weekend, 2 of them are in defence. He obviously wants to keep that as strong as possible. Throw-in to come now. Veladin Bayogo. Villa having a little difficulty clearing this, and Olic making a nuisance of himself. Janssen trying to take it down. Now Sidwell to take it away. His former Reading teammate Shorey. Looking for a run from Harewood, who has the strength to hold off Reinhardt. And there to help out, Jerome Boateng. Forward by Salifu. Rio Coker. Now Shorey. Not a good ball forward. Trukowski over his head. Shorey once more. Taken in by Yarolin. And away by Boateng. A side that score plenty goals but can see their fair share as well. Here's Reinhardt. Speculation surrounded his place in the starting 11 tonight. Guy Demel, who was suspended for the Frankfurt win over the weekend, back available tonight, but he has to settle for a place on the bench. Trukowski and Matthijssen. Dutch centre half looking to switch it over to that far side. Is that night, opting to play it with Mladen Petric pressurising and clearance from shore.
Expect to be a few English represented clubs tonight here, Des. Looking at Marlon Harewood in particular, transfer window's going to open, and he's a player that a lot of clubs have been reported to be looking at this moment in time. We'll certainly take the opportunity to look at him away from home against decent opposition.
It was Harewood's touch there that's got Rio Coker going forward. Rio Coker and others looking for a big night, has lost his place to Steve Sidwell in recent weeks. Lobbed forward by Trukowski, solid header by Zat Knight. Boateng, nice ball, Janssen, nice layoff. Here's Petric. Now Ayogo. Yarolim. Benjamin, Yarolim once more. Petric, work left to Janssen. Gets his head up looking to cross. Hamburg number 7 doesn't have fond memories of last season in the UEFA Cup, was torn apart. And Bayern's heavy defeat at Zenit St. Petersburg in the semi-finals, subbed at half-time. This season can create some fonder memories as Olic tries to force his way through. For a game with both sides already qualified, fantastic atmosphere in the stadium.
I was just about to say that, Des, no matter what German ground you go to, no matter what's at stake, crowds certainly get right behind the German sides.
Cuellar doing well, back in at centre half tonight for Villa, has been operating recently at right back with Curtis Davies and Martin Lawson tying down the centre-back positions. Cuellar has come close, very close in this competition in the past. As semi-finalist with Osasuna 2 seasons ago. A beaten finalist last season with Rangers. Yarolim had made a forward run, got his flick on as well. Olic not quick enough to get there. Clearance by Cuellar. Ayogo. Yarolim. Now Trukowski. So him operating on the left flank for Germany in the friendly defeat to England. On the right-hand side tonight, we'll look to cut in with that left foot. Picked up by Benjamin. Boateng, nice little touch, works the 1-2 with Trukowski, looking to get his cross in. And he found a way to get it beyond the imposing figure of Zat Knight. And Marcel Janssen not quick enough to get there.
It's definitely the best bit of play in the match so far from Hamburg. Nice pass and cross into the box, just unfortunately for them. No centre forward in there to take advantage.
So much attacking intent and potential in this Hamburg side. They've 2 full-backs who have operated as midfielders. Midfielders who like to get forward and help an attack that's been very, very prolific this season domestically. They will have to be on their guard. Here's Harewood. Stepping in effectively was Matthijssen. Benjamin beaten to it. Harewood has it taken off his toe. Janssen. Salifu struggling to get there. Olic pulls it back. And no one coming onto it. Picked up by Delfonso. Certainly the early threat is coming from the home side. Allowed to step forward. Yarolin. A wonderfully weighted ball for Olic. Once again, Hamburg in behind. Olic forced to hold it up now, looks for someone arriving. It's Yarolin who played the initial ball. Down either flank now. Hamburg have looked threatening.
That's a bit hopeful from Yarolin. Attempted a header from 18 yards. Decent cross into the box from Olic. Although Des would prefer to see Olic in the middle. Good goal scoring record.
Scored a famous goal against England at Wembley in the Euro 2008 qualifiers, a game that Steve McLaren will remember for all the wrong reasons. Taken to Yarolin, the captain, who already has an interesting story to tell from the group. Faced Slavia Prague and beat them earlier in the campaign. Slavia Prague managed by his father, his brother on the playing staff there. Now where's Quaylar going here? Olic never stops working. And Knight forced to put his boot through it.
So one thing's that night and Carlos Quaylar don't want to do tonight, dwell on the ball, get dispossessed. We already mentioned the record of Olic and Petric up front. Two good goal scorers, give them half a chance. The ball will be in the back of the net.
Harewood initially was looking for a corner, he'll settle for a throw-in. It's as deep as Villa have been in Hamburg territory. Looks like he's going to take this opportunity to launch it into the area. And Harewood should be a threat. Backing in, header from Matthijssen. Comes to Rio Coker.
It's the best chance of the game and it falls to Rio Coker. Must hit the target at least, under no great pressure when he pulls that right leg back. Should have hit the target.
Matthijssen, the centre half, didn't look too clever there when he came out to make the challenge. So ball and man go past him all too easily. Boateng's throwing. Olic with the header. Read by Salifu. Boateng to try again here. Another with a Premier League connection, Jerome Boateng, his brother. Prince Boateng at Tottenham.
So he's related to the Prince, is he?
Certainly is.
George Boateng, no relation?
No relation there, no. It's safe to say Jerome Boateng is seeing more first-team action than his brother is at White Hart Lane. For Frank Ross to do so far, the former Schalke goalkeeper. It's a good move for him coming here to a club that will challenge. 35 years of age now. Felt he had to leave. Manuel Neuer, the youngster, took his place in the Schalke side. Very experienced campaigner as well, Ross. Tonight his 103rd European club appearance.
He hasn't got a save to make, but he should have. It's a decent chance for Nigel Rio Coker, just edge of the box.
Reinhardt asking Olic again to do the running. He doesn't give up lost causes, will always pressurise, make the defender go those extra yards. If this is to be his last appearance for the club. He's obviously going to be determined to leave on a high. It's been a good season for them so far, just 2 points off the joint Bundesliga leaders, Hoffenheim and Bayern Munich. Bayern their next opponents when the Bundesliga resumes January 30th of next year. It's a bit like the Irish Dole. Nice long winter break. Chance to recharge the batteries. Some defending to do here though. Gardner skips away from a couple of would-be tacklers. Slips it forward, looking for the strength of Harewood. He's holding off Matthijssen and earns the corner.
That's where Marlon here was at his best, using his strength and his power. Wins his team a corner kick.
And he, along with the 6'6", thinks that night will be obvious targets here. It's Reinhardt who's been charged with the responsibility of marking Knight. Shorey has come across from left back, in swinger towards the near post, header away. He'll come back to Villa, swung back in again by Shorey. Whaler did well to keep it in the danger area. Header from Reinhardt to the edge of the area. Back in by Sidwell. Here's Harewood. Just for a moment he thought he was onside. Flag did eventually go up.
Really should have got himself out a little bit quicker. You see Marlon Harewood there, ambling out at the back. Really should be sprinting out to make sure that he's not offside.
Villa could end the night in any of the first, second or third positions. Third means you'll face a side that has won a UEFA Cup group, but you will have to play the second leg away from home. Second place sides will draw one of the 8 from the Champions League, and those are Bordeaux, Werder Bremen, Shakhtar Donetsk, Marseille, Aalborg, Fiorentina, Dynamo Kiev, and the UEFA Cup holders Zenit St. Petersburg. Strength of that group, Lou?
I don't really think it's any stronger, Des, than some of the teams in the UEFA Cup at this moment in time. Should be, because these are the teams that have come out of the Champions League, but as Martin O'Neill said this morning when he announced that he was going to play a weekend side, he's not really concerned where his team finishes. He'll take on anybody in the next stage.
He's quite a bullish manager, Martin O'Neill, always confident about his side's prospects, and they've been playing well this season, Villa. Of course, O'Neill won a European Cup himself against Hamburg, and as a manager, lost a UEFA Cup final with Celtic. At the moment, a nice momentum about the club. The manager happy to make 8 changes tonight. Here's Sidwell. The 3 staying in the side. Luke Young another. Now Knight. His 8th start of the season, all have come in cup competitions. Crossing chance for Gardner. Header away by Matthijssen, comes only as far as Luke Young. Salafu. Another we've seen in the main in cup competitions. Gardner this time with the left foot. Rio Coker at the back. Judged to be climbing on Boateng. He's got forward quite a lot. The opening 17 minutes, Rio Coker. South Villa's only efforts and goal. At the other end, no flag here against Petric. He's the danger man, and that's why. 15 for the season. His first significant involvement in the game, and what an emphatic finish.
Well, I did say earlier to you, Des, to give them half a chance at 2 up front, they could punish you. Well, is it half a chance? I don't think it's even half a chance, but what a wonderful finish it was. Left foot into the back of the net. Pass goes on, long ball over the top. Central defenders all over the place. Hits it with his left foot, cracking shot. I'm not so sure about Luke Young's positioning. I think all credit here must go to Petric though. Wonderful strike, always heading for that far corner.
Well, 2 touches, 1 magnificent goal from Mladen Petric. And the man they brought in this season from Borussia Dortmund continues to prove an inspired signing. Just when Villa are getting a foot into the game, so quickly they break. Fabulous finish.
Control was brilliant, the strike was brilliant, and well, I'm sure Martin and Neil warned these central defenders through the game. If you give Olic or Petric any amount of space, they'll probably punish you.
Villa looking for a quick response. Header away by Reinhardt, back in by Salifu. Alfonso was sniffing. Mladen Petric, a wonderful way to mark his 50th European club appearance tonight. 3 seasons ago he was part of the Basel side, knocked out by Middlesbrough on their incredible UEFA Cup run. And some history in this competition. He's even gone in goal and saved a penalty. Petric was flagged up as the danger man, and he has duly delivered for Hamburg.
I think it's a warning for Villa. First half chance of the game that Hamburg have had. Ball ends up in the back of the net. Certainly can't afford to go to sleep again in this game.
Strangely enough, in their third home outing in Europe this season, it's the first goal Hamburg have scored. They were held here by the Romanian side Unirea in the first round home leg. They were beaten 1-0 here by Ajax, their only home defeat of the season in league and cup competitions. They have the opportunity tonight to go ahead and win this group. It depends, of course, as well on Ajax's fixture at home to Slavia Prague. Hamburg, Villa and Ajax all start on 6 points in that order. I would fancy Ajax to beat Slavia Prague, who just 1 point and no goals in their 3 group games thus far. And the criteria will be goal difference, then goals scored, and then goals scored away from home.
He'll be a little bit disappointed in the goal when he looks at Luke Young's positioning. You're away from home, you've got to be alongside your central defenders. It's different when you're at home, you're going to get forward. But away from home, you want to contain the home side for as long as possible. They've managed to do that for almost 20 minutes, but Luke Young's positioning in advance of the central defenders.
And here they go again, this time it's Olic. Trukowski. Petric wants it delivered, and Petric there at the near post. Seen off by Carlos Cuellar. They just look so quick in their movement, the front two, and they're causing the Villa defence all manner of problems. Reinhardt and Matthijssen up here. Guzan waits. Massive bodies climb. It was Cuellar's header away. Yarolin. And if you meant that was an inspired touch, here's Trukowski. Yarolin again. Trukowski puts it in. Reinhardt had stayed forward. Runs through to Brad Guzan. Lovely given away. Here's Rio Coker. Touch was too heavy. Boateng stepping in. I think he knew there, Marlon Harewood, he was only waiting for the flag to go up, that he was offside.
That's one thing that does let Marlon Harewood down a little bit. His ability to stay onside. It's twice he's been caught. First 22 minutes.
Just wonder how sharp Marlon Harewood could be. 29 of his now 38 Villa appearances in his career under Martin O'Neill have been as a substitute.
Whether you've got that match practice or not, Des, you don't need to be sharp to stay onside. really has got to liven himself up a little bit. First time he was caught just ambling out, and all the Hamburg defenders were sprinting out. And there he could look along the line, surely could have seen that he was drifting offside.
It will be interesting to see if he's happy to stay at the club and play that substitute role, because with Bonlahor, Carew and Young, it really does look like all it's going to be. Done well at West Ham before the move. Really has struggled to make an impression in the first Villa 11. Luke Young pressurised. And the goal just seems to have lifted Hamburg even more.
I think Marlon here would realise is by nowadays that he's not going to be a regular centre forward for Aston Villa. So they have a big decision for him to make, and a big decision for Martin O'Neill to make. Does he keep him at the club on standby? Does he cash in and get some money for him and go looking elsewhere for someone?
Is that night under this? Bounced awkwardly for Luke Young, but he's gotten away with that. Now Salifu, red shirt swarming around him, coming out of the mist is Gardner. I'm afraid he's going to bring that one back. Luke Young to stand this one up. Over towards the far side, met by Sidwell. In by the other number 4, Reinhardt. Delfonso. Haven't seen much of the youngster yet. Shorey comes inside to Rio Coker. Turns away from Benjamin. Now looks to slip Harewood down the channel. All the way through for Shorey. Delfonso. Challenge from Boateng. Doesn't turn 18 until February, Nathan Delfonso. Scored a fabulous goal on his first Villa start against Selena. Rio Coker's layoff. Cross in. Headed away emphatically by Matthijssen. You can see the intent straight away from the Hamburg players in their own half to get Olic and Petric running early. It's brought them the only goal of the game so far. Here's Petric looking for the free kick and gets it. Foul by Mustafa Salifu.
Oh, certainly lively, the two strikers for Hamburg. Regular contact there by Salifu, but nowadays it's certainly going to be a free kick. Unfortunately for Salifu, no yellow card.
Then a man will be testing that he got some of the ball there. Strakowski over this, it's a long way out. He was asking a lot from there. Back with Janssen. Looks to go right to Strakowski. His control just lets him down. Villa away record of never losing an away European game under the current manager. Certainly under threat at the moment, as Delfonso does well in a tight area. Then a good challenge. Strong challenge by Reinhardt. Strakowski. Benjamin. Yaralin looking to spin Shorey, but Quaylar was there. Harewood tangling with Reinhardt. Picked up by Yaralin. Just passed a fitness test this morning, the Hamburg captain, important member of the side. Captain now that Rafael van der Vaart has moved on to Real Madrid. We've spoken about the players they brought in, the likes of Petric, but van der Vaart has moved on, so too Vincent Kompany, who started the season a Hamburg player, now at Manchester City. doesn't like a side that feels they have a good title challenge in them. Perhaps decent European options as well if they can keep Petric fit, if they can keep Olic at the club. Janssen overrunning that. Salifu forward, not where Harewood wanted it.
Villa just need a little bit more from Marlon Harewood and Nathan Delfonso. Need to hold that ball, give the midfield players a chance to join in, take the pressure off of Villa's back four.
Villa playing with three in the middle of the park in Rio Coker, Sidwell and Salifu, but Garolin has been seeing a lot of the ball in there. There's the goal scorer, Petric, stabs it left to Janssen. Support from Aogo. Great ball in, and the header has double the advantage, and it's Olic. Had to adjust to get there, but got there, muscled the defender out of the way, and placed the header to perfection. The front two have scored, and Hamburg 2 to the good.
Was always going to be the big problem for Villa, playing against a couple of goal scorers in Olic and Petric. Give them half a chance, and again this one barely half a chance. A brave header from Olic, ball into the box. Oh, that's bravery. Nice header into the back of the net, off the post. Once again Martin O'Neill will be a little bit disappointed that central defender doesn't get there first.
And Carlos Cuellar, the man who is closest. But now between them, a fearsome Croatian strike force. He scored 26 goals for Martin Jol this season, and we've yet to reach Christmas.
More important is we've yet to reach half-time. 2-0 down for Villa, and wonderful record that Martin O'Neill's got. Looks as if it's going to go down the pan tonight. He'll be disappointed if it does.
They made the changes against Salina for a home fixture and they were beaten. Hamburg were a better side than Salina are. So away changes tonight. I was asking a lot of those coming in. Away to a side going well in the Bundesliga. Might get carded for that one. First caution of the game. Gardner just getting there first. Always makes it look like a bad challenge then.
That was always going to be a free kick, but once again, Des, it's not a great deal of, well, there's no contact whatsoever, but any player goes down, the yellow card comes out. I just wish referees, when they see those replays, just realise that they've got it wrong sometimes. Be a little bit more patient with the yellow cards. By all means a free kick, but it's tight tackle.
Young's been left all alone, chance to measure across, but straight into the arms of the waiting Frank Rost. And knowing that momentum is on their side, he looks to get his side going forward straight away. Boateng for the switch to Petric, realised where Janssen was, looked to spin and definitely get a shot away with that left boot of his. Good vision though from Petric, another side to his game.
Well, you mentioned the changes that Martin's made tonight, Des. I think when you're playing at home and you've got a big crowd there cheering you on, I think you can make changes and the players that you bring in do okay. That's young Nathan
moments of the game, but they're on the back foot again here. Petric, Tchaikovsky, Yarolin, Salfu going out to meet him, back to Tchaikovsky again. Boateng available at right back, at left back, Dennis Auga. Slip forward to Petric. He's through again, Petric, and it took a last-ditch challenge from Rio Coker, the stand-in captain, to see him off there.
That night's defender here is woeful. Big central defender. Really should have got that.
What an important tackle from Rio Coker. Tchaikovsky drops it right in there. Little flicked header was from Colin Benjamin. It's gone behind for a Villa goal kick. Hamburg went out of this competition at the last 16 stage last season, beaten cruelly in their eyes by another Bundesliga side, Bayer Leverkusen. And the evidence of the first 37.5 minutes, albeit against a depleted Villa. Martin Jol's side look a side that could have a decent run again this campaign.
Even at this stage, you're just wondering how Villa can manage to claw those 2 goals back and then go on to win the game. Haven't shown enough up front tonight. Wood and Delfonso, the suspect is that Hamburg back 4 are reasonably easy for them, apart from the 2 chances from the edge of the box. One for Craig Gardner and one from Nigel Rio Coker. I've seen a great deal of the rest of the Villa side.
Got a glimpse of Martin Jol there. I wonder what he was thinking when it all went wrong for Wande Ramos.
Martin Jol, I think, was a bit harshly treated at Tottenham. Had a reasonable run of results and we thought things were going to be in the up for him, but then it all went horribly wrong. Of course, you don't get time nowadays, no matter what league you're in. People say you don't get time in the Premier League, but that's starting to spread right through all divisions in the
Premier League clubs seen by many as quick to sack managers. Blackburn proving today they're quick to hire one as well, as Sam Allardyce in to replace Paul Ince. Ince's seat still warm in the manager's office. Young, and now Rio Coker. For Young to get in behind. It's given us a foul on Reinhardt by Delfonso. See managers, when it gets to this stage of European competitions, be it UEFA Cup or Champions League, rest players, but quite often it's a very strong bench that they'll still bring with them just in case they need them. But Martin O'Neill's decision to leave behind like Bon Lahore, Young, Barry, Larson, Milner, and of course the injured Carew suggests that one way or the other this was a throwaway game for him.
Well, it's the first time I've actually heard Martin O'Neill saying that, Des, that didn't really care where Villa ended up in the group and who they got in the next stage. I think that's been shown by his team selection tonight. But he would probably still expect this team to do, well, let's say, a lot better than have done up to now. 40 minutes gone, 2-0 down. First job away from home is to make sure you don't concede early on.
Ideally, winning the group is the best move. You get a third-place side from not the UEFA Cup group. Which is better, second or third is open to debate. Second, you get a side dropping down from the Champions League. Third, you get a UEFA Cup group winner. There's always the opportunity you could get AC Milan.
Well, we've seen AC Milan at Portsmouth. It's not the AC Milan of years ago. I'm not so sure that with that many teams quaking in the boots that we were drawn against them.
Well, that said, they still won the game when they needed to. Imagine as it goes on, even if it's not the Champions League, the Milan fans will demand a trophy come the end of the season. Trophy could well be the UEFA Cup. Anywhere will do. There comes that night as Petric again. It's to cause some consternation in the Villa defence. Alonso will chase here. Matthijsen stopping across to win the header. Tidied up by Yarelin. Covers so much ground for his side. Sidwell against Benjamin. It's given against Sidwell.
Steve Sidwell, another player that's yet to make his mark at Villa Park. Fantastic move for him to Villa, and that certainly hasn't worked out for him at this moment in time.
He has been doing a little better in recent weeks. He's kept Rio Coker out. Midfield three has usually been Petrov, Gareth Barry and Sidwell of late. Made an inauspicious start to his Villa career with an own goal in the Intertoto game, opening game of the season at Odense. For a player who was one of the main men at Reading, then went to Chelsea. Last of the season, never really made an impact there. His next move was always going to be an important one. As you said, Lou, really failing to spark so far for Villa. Here comes Rio Coker. To put it into an area that he was anticipating would be filled by either Harewood or Delfonso.
Just a little bit slow here with Delfonso to get into that box.
Rio Coker is arguably involved in the best Villa moments in this first half. There haven't been too many of them. Man's goal after 18 minutes, that certainly has been the talking point. Clearance by Boateng. In the air from Zat Knight, no great distance on that. Salifu. Now Gardner, who's up on the left-hand side now. Away by Reinhardt. Before the ball even came to me, he had a look around, checking out who was where, went for Janssen, who holds on. Aogo took a little unkind bobble just as he was about to deliver.
And a bobble that could have been another dangerous situation for Villa to deal with. Just once again, Luke Young not getting close enough, never in a position there to close a go down. It's a bobble at the last moment. Picture there of Luke Young, 6 or 7 yards away.
Here comes Janssen, opted to have a go. Wonderful strike off the crossbar. And Hamburg inches away from a stunning third.
There's a brilliant strike. 25, 30 yards out, left footer. Oh, keeper no chance whatsoever. That looks as if it was sailing for that top corner. Crossbar to the rescue. What a strike.
It would have been his first goal for Hamburg. What a goal it would have been. Operating as a more advanced left-sided player now to the role we became accustomed to seeing him in. Left back for the national side, but Hamburg almost rounding off the first half with a flourish. The first half illuminated by a stunning Raden Petric goal after 18 minutes. Vic Olic adding a second on the half hour. The Croatian double act has proven too good for Martin O'Neill's side. Half-time here, Hamburg 2, Aston Villa 0.
Yes, a double from the top two for Hamburg. And they've looked jolly good in comparison with Villa, haven't they? It's Christmas, we've got to try. It's not really the time to do that, though, is it?
Well,
Or the
January window is coming up, and I would fairly say at this moment in time, if he could get Harewood out and bring Heskey in, he'd do it straight away.
Yeah, he's bounced around a bit, hasn't he? West Ham, that's for us. He's not really done anything for a long while, but I think they're missing the two centre-backs more. But Davies and Larsson have been very sound recently.
We mentioned the managerial changes at Blackburn today. If you weren't in earlier, Sam Allardyce has taken over after the sacking of Paul Ince. We'll have a word or two about that after the conclusion of the game, and also maybe the future moves of Martin Jol, the man in charge at Hamburg, where his team are doing him proud right now. Back to Lou and Des for the second half in Germany.
Well, the draw for the UEFA Cup round of 32 will take place in Nyon on Friday. Will Villa be going into it as a first, second or third place side from their group? First looks distinctly unlikely now, and the news that Slavia Prague are 2-1 up at Ajax in terms of goal difference and goals scored means that Villa have dropped to third in Group F, Ajax up to second. There could still be twists and turns ahead in the second half, both here and in Amsterdam, that you'd fancy. Hamburg looking well in control here. The question might be, can Ajax get back on terms and perhaps go on to win that one against the Slavia side that hasn't won a game in the group? What can Villa offer second half? Need to be better. Didn't deal with Petric and Olic, the two goal scorers for Hamburg in the first period. Of course, they need to score at least twice second half. Thinking back, there was only really Nigel Reo-Coker who had an effort on goal from Villa in the first period, Luke.
Yeah, and the effort from Craig Gardner in a similar position, Des, and that was a total contribution from Villa in the first 45 minutes.
My apologies that Gardner one slipped my mind. It's probably the best chance they had in that first half, and Gardner would have felt he should have done better. They need a positive start to the second half. Certainly won't want to be conceding another early. There's Rost. So the dummy to go out to Boateng. Reinhardt pressurised, but able to find a way to get it to his full-back, and now Yarrolin, red shirts pouring forward. Petric has the confidence to have a go, and Guzan, a little patchy penalty area ahead of him, had to watch that.
Well, you would have expected Villa to have learned their lesson from the first 45 minutes. That Petric and Olic in particular have got to be marked tightly. We're only into a couple of minutes of the second half, and Petric all on his own. Decent shot with his left foot.
Looks a player reborn at Hamburg, not in Petric. Came in this season from Borussia Dortmund. I don't think even he would have imagined it would have gone this well. 15 goals for the season already. Has taken a knock there. Suggesting there was something a little sinister in it, perhaps. Villa have to find a way to stop those front two by fair means or foul. Petric languidly shifts it to the right-hand side to Boateng. Into the gap for Petric again. All the way beyond Salafu this time. Up by Gardner, who has started the second half, where he ended the first on the left flank for Villa. Delfonso, first real chance to show what he can do. He's in the area. Clearance was from Matthijssen. Forward by Luke Young, Harewood. Matthijssen gets a foot in again. Owen Aogo got that one all wrong. Reo-Coker. Luke Young is the decoy runner. Seen off. And Matthijssen.
What a spell there at both sides, giving the ball away too easily.
Two fixtures domestically, two big ones. Trip to West Ham. So last out, games open draw against Chelsea. And then they have Arsenal at Villa Park on St Stephen's Day. An Arsenal side they've already beaten at the Emirates. That night's foot was deemed high. And 6'6", I don't think it can be any other way, can it?
I think he's got himself a yellow card. I've got to agree with that, Nate. The ball's there, what do? You stick your foot up to try and get the ball. The ball bounces up, in comes that Knight. Well, both. I'm sorry, but I don't see a yellow card there.
It was all ball, wasn't it, from the Villa centre half? Justifiably, he can feel aggrieved receiving that caution. One centre half on each side in the book. Aston for Hamburg. Here's Yarolim. Looks for Trukowski. Quaylar ushers it out of the dead ball line.
Wondered if the match officials are ever shown tapes of the game so they can look back and look at where they've given yellow cards and make a decision. Was it a right decision or a wrong decision? Because for me, on too many occasions, especially with yellow cards involved, certainly wrong decisions.
Here's Petric. Covers those first few yards so quickly. Really bright and alert. There's the opportunity here. Olic will look to get on the end of it. An important foot in. Carlos Quaylar. He'll be disappointed with his part in Olic's goal. Hamburg second in the half hour. Trukowski's corner is claimed by Guza. Go down the middle, reaches neither Rio Coker nor Harewood. All too easily Hamburg have the ball back. Petric. This time Knight standing firm.
I think one of the problems Villa have got and Martin O'Neill's got is on the bench. No striker of any experience there. Certainly can't take Harewood and Alfonso off and bring on experience. There isn't any.
4 19-year-olds amongst the 7. Here comes Sidwell.
I haven't seen a great deal of Steve Sidwell tonight. Getting forward and getting a chance at goal is normally what he's all about. It's the first time this evening he's got into any sort of position.
Little flick from Petric. Olic looks to be backing in on Quaylar there. Referee happy to let it go. A touch from Benjamin. The League of Nations these days football. Colin Benjamin, a Namibian international. On the bench they've got Jonathan Petroipa, young wild player from Burkina Faso. See him involved at some stage in this second half. Real speedster. Harewood challenges from Reinhardt. Yarolim for Trukowski. Interception from Sidwell. Challenge from Benjamin. Normally wouldn't be starting him there, but they do have Nigel de Jong out with a long-term knee injury. Down defending by another Dutchman, Matthijssen. Looked a little livelier second half, Villa, as Rio Coker looked to play Sidwell in.
Well, you'd expect them to be lively at theirs. First 45 minutes and maybe at the races, and no doubt that they're going in at half-time and got a bit of a rollicking from Martin O'Neill.
Alfonso. Matthijssen reluctant to jump in, and Alfonso glided past him. Matthijssen ultimately did get a foot on the ball. Have a corner.
That's what the young man's all about. The pace that he's got to use it a bit more tonight.
Shorey's corner. Come to the edge of the area where Yarolim is tangling with Salifu. Benjamin battling. Ultimately, a Villa throw-in. Now hurled down the line by Luke Young, and that will be a free kick. Ogo was completely wrong side, and now Harewood's getting involved. Assistant referee having to step in. And is there something untoward here from the full-back?
Not really, he's holding on to Marlon Harewood. It's a free kick, but I don't know why they're getting excited. Two players, the referee just telling them to calm down.
His reaction suggested there might have been something more, but on the replay didn't seem to be. And Shorey again has gone across to take this. Drops it right into the 6-yard area. Good header away by Petric back there. Sliding into it at Luke Young, symbolising more urgency from Villa's second half. And there was no flag up there. Rost had to make the save. Now to the other end, Quayler stretching to get there. Oh, he's chugged back Olic. Olic goes on. What a magnificent finish from one end to the other. Villa were threatening, seen off by the Hamburg goalkeeper Frank Ross, and within seconds Brad Guzan beaten at the other end. Olic's second, Hamburg's third, and Villa, well, they're out of range now.
Once again, Des, where was that Villa defence? Great goalkeeping at the other end from Ross. And all of a sudden, one big long kick over the halfway line. Two Villa defenders there. Olic all on his own. Oh, poor defender from Quayler. I've got to say once again, great strike from Olic. Left foot into the back of the net.
It's twice now that Olic has cut Carlos Quayler out. Once with that header on the half hour for Hamburg's second. And there he showed a real striker's instinct. It all came from this. Rost bravely in at the feet of Gardner, and down at the other end once Carlos Quayler had put his hands on the jersey of Olic, but like all good strikers should, he knew there was a shooting opportunity, opted to go on, and didn't he take it superbly. To add insult to injury, Gardner, who was threatening at this end, looks like his game might be coming to a premature end. 3 goals for Hamburg tonight, all superbly taken.
I want to say once again, it's sloppy defending from the away side. 2 against 1. Really, Olic shouldn't have been able to get in there and finish with his left foot.
And Olic was a scourge of the English national side in those Euro 2008 qualifiers. Been a thorn in Villa's side tonight. Hamburg, odds uncertainties now to top this group.
I just noticed Martin O'Neill down in the technical area. He's not too happy. To say the least, that is. Well, I should say that it must be his own team he's not happy with, Des. Certainly can't be happy with defending this evening. 2 players of the quality of Olic and Petric, and both players have had too much time and space.
My lip reading is any good. It looked like he was saying joke in the direction of the match official, but it's been his defending that's been comical this evening. Got caught out all too easily. That said, the goals brilliantly taken when the opportunities presented themselves to Petric and Olic.
I think that's what we should concentrate on. There's been 3 wonderful finishes. Certainly not gilt-edged chances that when the players that have scored, got the ball, you said they must score here. All been a little bit difficult, but they made it look a little bit easier than it should have been.
Hamburg getting their reward for putting their first side out tonight. Martin Jol picked the same side that beat Frankfurt here on Saturday. And they have proven far too good. Trukowski! Well, Guzan got hands on it and was happy to see it pass his left hand upright.
Well, I must say that Knight and Carlos Cuellar have been a joke tonight. They're playing against two top strikers. They must have realised that before the game. Look at them here, standing off.
It will be Trukowski's corner, and it was a free header. It sailed over the head of Knight and Olic. Well, should he have had his hat-trick there? Gardner's game has come to an end. He's been replaced, and it's a debut for the young Scottishman, Barry Bannan, who just turned 19 at the start of the month. He's apparently been catching the eye for the reserves this season, but not exactly the dream situation to come on and make your debut in, is it?
Well, it isn't ideal, but Villa's biggest problem is in defence tonight, Des. You've just seen there with that last corner kick. Once again, Ollie's completely unmarked. That Knight was 4 or 5 yards away from him.
And here come Hamburg again. Would be a night to remember for them. I'll go with a nice little touch. Yarrolin is right to the other fullback. Look how advanced Boateng is, and that's a measure of their confidence.
I'd expect Martin Jol to make a few changes. His team are well in control. He can afford to rest a few of them and give one or two a chance.
It's interesting, it might have been pre-match gamesmanship, and you see a lot of it these days, but the word coming out of the Hamburg camp was it would be such a boost to the club to beat a side like Aston Villa. And whether or not they were assuming that would be a first-strength or a full-strength Aston Villa side or not, but they have been a class removed tonight from their opponents, Hamburg. And 3-0, they've been worthy of it. Boateng took a chance there, retrieved by Bannan, his first senior touch. Needs to play it back to Shorey. Clearance by Benjamin. Here's Delfonso. Tyson. Picked up by Yarrolin, he's been everywhere. And still he goes. You'd never guessed he was at their main injury doubt prior to this one. He might be one that Martin Jol would consider taking off before the final whistle. Bannan goes wandering in field. Luke Young. Rio Coker. Could be a long last half hour for Martin O'Neill's side. Bannan again confident to get on it. Wasn't a bad ball in, but no one in there to threaten Frank Rost. The youngster showing up intent straight away. Started on the left, was willing to go inside, looking to get involved.
I think you might see Martin O'Neill bringing on another couple of the youngsters that are on the bench. Really, this game looks lost for them now. Never really been in the match right from the minute the home side got in front. It was one-way traffic and it's continued that way.
You'll be keeping an eye on Bannan, won't you, as a fellow Scot?
Well, I will be, Des, and you'll be keeping an eye on Shane Lowry if he comes on, won't he?
Yes, he's one of the substitutes for Martin O'Neill as well, the Irish under-21 centre-half. I have to say, given the performances of Zat Knight and Carlos Cuellar, he might be worth a look for the closing minutes.
Well, it should have been on at half-time.
Ross goes long. Again, Olic the target. Tchaikovsky knocked off it. And Salafu's challenge an illegal one. done. Olic, Benjamin again, hand off from Sidwell. It's going to be a card to follow this.
I must say once again, Des, I don't see how this is a yellow card. Yes, it is a foul. He pushes him to the ground.
Sidwell joins that night, and Joris Matthijssen on a yellow card this evening. Only player on either side, incidentally, who was one booking away from missing the next European game was Craig Gardner, but injury has forced his departure early in the second half. I'm sure Martin O'Neill would pointed at the chance that Gardner had when he was almost in, had that gone in, but ifs, ands and buts are no good. Seconds later, Olic was hammering in a third for Hamburg, and the game was well and truly over. That didn't seem to be a ball that Quaylor wanted from the goalkeeper. Hands with Luke Young. Nice for Rio Coker. Looks for a runner, it's Sidwell. And Boateng hasn't made the challenge. And the flag was up anyway. Harewood had put it wide. The flag has saved his blushes.
Once again, he's offside, Marlon Harewood. Any time he's run a little bit better than this. And Sidwell pokes the ball forward. You quite clearly see he's already a yard offside.
We've seen precious little of Petric in the second half. They haven't needed him. That's his ball forward. Janssen will chase, and Hamburg will have a throw deep in Villa territory. It's time for another striker. And Ivica Olic is going to be replaced. Is it the last time? Hamburg fans will see him in their colours. January will tell that story. Are the Bayern Munich rumours going to be proved true or not? He's going to lead to a massive ovation here. He won't get his hat-trick this evening. But 2 goals very well taken by the Croatian striker. An embrace from manager and assistant manager for his efforts. And he's replaced by the Peruvian international, Jose Guerrero.
Oh, there's a glimpse of his first goals, a brave header. I think that's been the big difference between the two teams tonight. Up front, Hamburg, 2 strikers that given half a chance and put the ball in the back of the net, whereas Villa, 2 younger players, haven't really had a sniff.
And if you don't recognise him, he's had a haircut lately. You might remember the flowing locks from his Bayern Munich days. Guerrero, he started the season as a first choice, and plenty of praise to Martin Jol for his contribution. But really, with Olic and Petric, impossible to become a regular starter. The manager has used all 3 at various points in league games, starting them on a few occasions. That's a pretty frightening prospect, given what we've seen tonight. Delfonso takes out a good ball to Rio Coker, faced by Ayogo, and he's gone past it very easily, and Rio Coker has flashed it wide.
Well, he's probably got forward more tonight than I've ever seen him in the past, Nigel Rio Coker. Good play to get past the full-back. Wasn't the worst of shots either, hard and low. Was it across the face of the goals, or was it meant for to end up in the back of the net? Either way, certainly doesn't end up in the back of the net, but good play from Nigel Rio Coker.
A yard one way and it was in, a yard the other, and it was a tap-in for Harewood, but Rio Coker, who's wearing the armband tonight and probably been Villa's best performer, unable to pull one back. Forward by Boateng. Tchaikovsky, very nimble, teasing Banan. Now Yarolin, bundled over by Sidwell, who has to be careful. He's brought himself to the referee's attention already.
Well, he's got to be careful, so is that night. And couple of minutes earlier, he just went shoulder to shoulder with a Hamburg player, and that could have cost him dearly.
And he's the wrong side here as well against Petric. Knight is struggling, and Luke Young got a touch on that. That meant it wasn't a straight effort on goal from Marcel Janssen.
I must say, his positional sense that night is absolutely diabolical. Not for the first time in this game. Allows Petric to get past him. You'd have thought he'd have learned his lesson by now. He's got to stay tight to Petric and mark him closely.
Header away by Reinhardt. Clearance completed by Matthijssen. It's time from Guerrero. Referee allows an advantage. Yarolin. On from Petric. Guerrero. Trakowski. Not the ball he was looking for. Hamburg with time to pull out a few party pieces. Trakowski forward. Guerrero wants the cross. And slides in and makes the challenge for Villa. Boateng. What about that? Cuellar has lost Trakowski. Now Guerrero. They'll have plenty of men back there, but they can't get a challenge in. Yarolin digs it out to Trakowski, and we're at that moment now. It really hurts for all away players when every home pass is being cheered. You know, the home side are very much in control in those circumstances.
One thing they don't want to do, Des, is do anything silly. Get a man sent off.
Well, Yarolin was spotting the headlines there.
That's how confident Hamburg are. They're going to have a pop at goals from anywhere on this pitch now. Stroking the ball around, making Villa chase it. Probably the poorest Villa have been in Europe this season.
Well, they took the long route to get here after finishing 6th in the Premier League last season. That got them into the Intertoto Cup, where they saw Fidense over 2 legs. They had to go through a first-round qualifier against Icelandic opposition, a second-round qualifier against Bulgarian opposition, and beat Ajax and Slavia Prague in the group before losing to Zelina. Here goes Alfonso, scored a goal in that defeat. And it's just run out of room on the end line.
Oh, that's better from the young man. At least he's having a go. Uses that pace to skip past the first defender. Just unfortunately runs the ball out of play.
Banner. Strong challenge by Reinhardt on Sidwell. He's back for more here. Bannon again. He's shown up well in the few minutes he's been on the pitch, Sidwell. Large frame of Reinhardt in the way. Guerrero battling with Cuellar. And he's quicker. Still Guerrero. Little touch to Yarolin and back again. Trakowski. Benjamin. They're very much enjoying this now, Hamburg. Janssen looking to run that night here.
Had a bit of a torrid evenings that night.
The final touch was off the Villa centre half. Reinhardt's arrival will make 5 in red inside the Villa penalty area. Swung in, and that's easy for Guzan. Wasn't Trakowski's best delivery of the evening. Here's Banna. Didn't get that one right. Rust, loose one, picked up by Rio Coker. Waits for the support arriving from Luke Young. Stands up across, claimed by Rust.
It's too easy for the goalkeeper, hanging in the air too long.
Just wonder, Lou, it's all very well for Martin O'Neill as a manager with the side qualified to, as we said earlier, throw away this game essentially by making 8 changes. You just wonder, in the players' minds, particularly the younger players, how damaging a defeat this might be, even with 5 first-teamers at home in Birmingham.
Well, it doesn't have a defeat. This doesn't help anybody.
Now look at Guerrero there. It was all too easy. 4 Villa players around him. One challenge made. Cross in the end too high for Petric. But smile on Hamburg faces tells you all you need to know about this game.
I think this highlights Villa's play tonight. Quite rightly, as you said, there's 4 Villa players. Nobody gets a tackle in, and as that ball was floated into the box, you for 1 minute just thought that Petric once again would be on the end of it.
Put up against Harewood. You should know after the booking for us that night that the referee won't tolerate that. Dyson's free kick. Given away. Quayler. Interception from Yarolin. Now Trukowski. Teasing and tormenting Nicky Shorey. Has the time to measure across. Quayler had to use every inch of his frame there. Guerrero lurking in behind. Picked up by Salifu. Away by Sidwell. Little nudge in the back on Delfunso, spotted by the referee. Taken to Barry Banna. Skipping forward, support from Shorey. Now to get his cross in, it's beaten everyone. And good covering defending from Marcel Janssen. There's going to be another change coming up from Martin Jol. Interesting to see who he takes off. I wonder, will he consider the captain Yarolin?
I think you could take anyone off there. It's not going to have an effect on this game.
It's Thiago Neves to come on. And going off is Mladen Petric, so the 2 tormentors-in-chief of Aston Villa tonight have been substituted. That night, and Carlos Quayler will be breathing a huge sigh of relief. Coming on the young Brazilian. Another who knows his way to goal, scored a hat-trick for Fluminense in this year's Copa Libertadores final, which they lost on penalties against Quito, who are involved in the Club World Championship. Manchester United could be facing them in the final on Sunday. Here's Banna. Drifting by Shorey. A chance to take this down. And the flag did go up eventually. But again, Harewood wouldn't have known that and didn't look too convincing when the ball came to him.
As this ball comes in, as you can see, Marlon Harewood once again offside. Well, we saw Olic and Petric in the time both of them were on Des. I don't think they get caught offside once between them. I think that's the 5th or 6th time Marlon Harewood's been caught offside.
And nudged off it. It's looking for Trukowski, and Shorey forced to concede the throw-in. Throw there. There is the most most recent arrival, Thiago Neves, who was seen as the natural replacement for Rafael van der Vaart, but he's only made 4 starts this season. Hasn't made the impact they were expecting. Still perhaps adjusting to life in German football. And a bronze medal in Beijing in the summer. He has had a busy year. Here goes Harewood, taking on Reinhardt. Looks like he might have the legs as well, but Reinhardt has long legs and used them to good effect. It's going to be Banan's corner. That swinger with the left boot, right onto the penalty spot. Header away was by Neves. Banan there again, judged the bounce well. He wasn't the intended recipient of that ball from Sidwell though. And now it's with Guerrero, looking to go left. Neves. He's all the licence in the world to go forward now. Not a good ball inside though, read by Cuellar. Now Trukowski. Looking to pick a way through again. Dug out by Salifu. Alfonso. That was an ungainly challenge. Jerome Boateng. Given what we've seen so far, he could be fortunate to get away without a card there.
I think the fact that Alfonso up almost immediately saved him from that yellow card, Des.
And then with the left boot, over towards the back post. Goalkeeper lost that one, and that was a good chance. As that night arriving late.
That night at the back post, keeper in no man's land. And once again, no Villa striker there to take advantage of it.
I think Knight has every reason to feel aggrieved. He did his part. Here's Cuellar. Leaves it there for Salifu and turned in by Delfonso. He's got another goal. Back-to-back UEFA Cup goals now for the youngster. One back, it looks a mere consolation. But for the 17-year-old, another important moment in his fledgling Villa career.
I'm not so sure he knows a great deal about this, but it counts, as you say, Des. Ball over the top for once the Hamburg defence. They're caught dreaming. Little side flick with his right foot. Past the keeper into the back of the net.
I think you've got to credit his reactions there. Came at him quickly, but adjusted his foot well and saw it nestle in the bottom corner. Now, decision for the referee. It was Sidwell's foul.
He's in trouble. He's
already been booked. Sidwell is going to go here. And Villa's brightest moment of the game is followed by a dismissal. 2 yellow cards for Steve Sidwell. And that will not please the manager.
Well, I did say to you, Des, about 15 minutes ago, the one thing they've not got to do is get anybody sent off, anyone involved when they were chasing the game. It was always likely that somebody would make a clumsy challenge. That man, Steve Sidwell, the referee's got no option but to send him off.
But he had to know what was coming. Already on a yellow. And Hamburg were stung by the concession of the goal. And Sidwell, who was shown 2 yellows, it could easily have been a straight red. Yarolin was bearing down on goal. But a chance now for either Neves or Trukowski to take advantage. It's Trukowski straight into the wall. And his second effort fares no better. At 3-1, Martin O'Neill might have been able to take a positive in Nathan Delfonso's goal. He will be extremely upset with that sending off. It's been a sloppy Villa performance tonight. They've been second best for sure. now looks like they're going to finish with 10 men.
I was just about to say, Des, when you start sloppy, it can lead to things like players getting sent off, and certainly that sloppiness has led to them conceding the 3 goals.
Taking on Cuellar. Goes back to Guzan, who had to play it first time as Neves was looking to close the angle down. Nice touch from Salifu. Looking for Harewood, misplaced it though. Taken in by Matthijssen and then Benjamin. On to Ayogo. 3-1 the scoreline, but preface that by saying that Martin Yall's side were so comfortable that he was able to take off his 2 strikers, Olic and Petric, who contributed the 3 Hamburg goals tonight. Layoff from Trukowski. Forward by Boateng. Question now, Lewis. Martin O'Neill was asked about his decision to rest so many players. He defended it, but what will he learn about his team tonight?
Well, he always learn plenty out of a game, Des, and I think one thing that he will learn without any shadow of a doubt, that his back 2, in particular Zach Knight and Carlos Cuellar, are going to do a lot better in future games if they're given other opportunities.
Here comes Neves looking to set up Guerrero. Be the most comfortable flight back to the English Midlands, that's for sure. Harewood dispossessed all too easily by Yarolin.
I was just going to say, Des, as well up front, Harewood, Delfonso, is that a partnership that could carry you through the next round? I don't think so.
A performance like this will make Villa fans even all the more grateful for the likes of Ashley Young and Egbon Lahore and what they've done this season. Martin Lawson as well, who, as Lewis just pointed out, will be desperately needed at the heart of the Villa defence. Gareth Barry and James Milner, the other 2 of the 5 who didn't travel. Here's Luke Young's cross. Harewood should attack that, beaten to it by Reinhardt. And away by Yarolin. Hamburg supporters want to restore the 3-goal advantage. They want to finish this game on a high. Neves looking for one through the middle. Important touch from Cuellar, but there's a gap left as Knight stepped in. And he was bailed out by his fullback Luke Young there. Guerrero should have made more of that. Here's the 2 Villa youngsters combining, Delfonso and Vanan. To be another late change. And that's the end of the game for Piotr Trukowski, who has done his bit. Coming on the young midfielder Aris Ben Hatira. First appearance of the season for him. Martin Yall happy to get him some first team action in the closing seconds. Harewood holds it up against Matthijssen. When he's done well, he's beaten Matthijssen here, but he can't beat Rust. Oh, he gets a second chance and perhaps even a third, and Rio Coker has put it wide. Not any chance of a grandstand finish from Villa, and it's surely gone now.
I'm not so sure which is the worst miss. Marlon Harewood's first or second attempt, or Nigel Rio Coker's 3rd attempt at goal. Harewood does the hard bit, makes it look easy. Then he's got a chance with his head, chance with his left foot, doesn't have a shot. And then Nigel Rio Coker with his left foot, oh, wide of the target. That was poor.
Well, 3-2. I don't think that would be viewed as a fair reflection on the night's proceedings. But it was so close to being exactly that. Hamburg just showing some of their defensive frailties. Could very well make them a value for money team to follow in the UEFA Cup this season. Exhilarating going forward, but going to a lapse or two defensively. Martin O'Neill would have taken a lapse or two from his side at the back, not the fineness they have shown to Olic, Petric and Co. For Barry Bannon, it will be a somewhat bittersweet experience. Makes his senior bow. On the side that's defeated, though. But he's shown enough to the manager that he's brave, wants to get on it. Just turned 19. It's a sign as well. The youngsters coming through the Villa Academy, a very successful academy in recent years. Perhaps there might be opportunities ahead. Martin O'Neill doesn't have the biggest squad in the world. What might disappoint some of the youngsters is that they've already been knocked out of the League Cup. Here goes Yaralim again. No challenge forthcoming. And Ben Hatira seen off in by Boateng. Knight gets a foot on it. Clearance completed by Cuellar. 90 seconds to go. Yaralim has been impressive tonight. Receives it back. Gets it out right to Boateng. And Hatira. Here Croker gets a foot in.
Well, I don't think Villa can have any complaints about the scoreline or the sending off. They've been second best tonight.
Oh, there could be a fourth. Good save from Guzan. And off the crossbar and over. Initially it was Ben Hatira denied, and then Janssen, who's hit the crossbar twice now tonight.
Well, you'd expect Ben Hatira to put this away. He's right through the middle. Just Guzan to beat off Guzan. Janssen with a second opportunity, hits the crossbar and just over the top. Villa survive.
Well, the youngster didn't seem to have the composure required when he got in. Had that been a Petric or an Olic, to be almost assured it would have been a fourth for Hamburg. It remains 3-1 into the final 30 seconds. And the final whistle has gone in Amsterdam. Ajax have come back from a goal down to draw 2-2 with Slavia Prague, and coupled with this result, it will mean that Hamburg will win Group F. Ajax with their points will move on to 7. Villa will stay on 6, and as a result will finish 3rd in the group. And in Friday's draw, they will face a UEFA Cup group winner and will have to play the second leg away from home. That's what it all means for Villa tonight. A Villa side well beaten. Game really highlighted by the two Croatian strikers, Ivica Olic and Mladen Petric, who scored all 3 Hamburg goals between them. Janssen denied twice by the crossbar. Hamburg could have had more. The only plus point for Martin O'Neill. Nathan Delfonso with another goal for the senior side, albeit a consolation. 7 minutes from time. The sending off of Steve Sidwell, which followed quickly after, was certainly another black mark for the Premier League side this evening. So Villa will go into the hat as the 3rd place side in the UEFA Cup. They'll find out their next game on Friday. But a very, very disappointing evening for them here. Well beaten. Final score at the Nordbank Arena. Hamburg 3, Aston Villa 1.
Hamburg off on their holidays. Villa come back to prepare for West Ham. You can see it with us on Setanta Sports at the weekend. They must have hoped to give it a rattle. He must have hoped for that. But he didn't get much response second half, did he? Live football starts early tomorrow on Setanta Sports. We're with Manchester United in Japan, the FIFA Club World Cup semi-final against Gamba Osaka, and you can see it with us at 10:25 in the morning. There are repeats at 6:30 in the evening and again at 9 p.m. And just a reminder that if United do come through that and qualify for the final, we'll be showing you that live on Sunday. In the interim, in the Premier League at the weekend, Hull City Sunderland first up from us, 2:25. Saturday lunchtime, the first of two live games back-to-back. We follow with West Ham United against Aston Villa. Everton Chelsea comes up on the Monday night. And looking further ahead towards the Christmas week itself, Rangers Celtic, a game which speaks for itself, I think. Saturday, December the 27th at 11:30. And Manchester United's Premier League home game against Middlesbrough comes up on Monday night, December the 29th. This is how it's finished in Group F of the UEFA Cup. The other result tonight, Ajax in injury time levelled it at 2-2 against Slavia Prague, a penalty. So, Hamburg, as we've seen, winning tonight, beating Aston Villa and going to the top of Group F with 9. Ajax finished second on 7 and Villa in third. Was there anything positive to take out of it for your former club tonight?
Well, I don't even think you can look at Delfonso's goal as being a positive. I genuinely have got a page full of minuses, to be honest. You know, right from the start here, I mean, the defence is all over the place. It's a great finish, but the two forwards, Olic and Petric, were just too clever. They didn't have to do anything brilliant. They just made decent runs. Two centre-backs couldn't...
Do you expect better on an individual basis?
Well,
when players are brought in tonight?
Yeah, I think the problem's being, you know, the more established players, Sidwell, Harewood, the two centre-backs, Luke Young at right-back, the more established players who we know of, who do play in the first team quite often, were just way below what they needed to do.
How does this happen then?
Well, you know, every now and again you do have games, and the problem is, as a football manager, when you have a game where, 70% of your team are below what they can play, then you're on the route to having a bad result. And it's just been a bad result and a bad night's work all the way around. Followed up and finished off by Sidwell getting sent off. And it's just been a horrible night for them, really.
Brian Kerr, were you surprised by this from Villa tonight?
Not particularly so. We saw them against Zelina, and they started poorly in that match. With a weakened team on the pitch. I've said this frequently. When the manager leaves out 6 or 7 of the main players, it spreads an attitude to the team that it's hard to get over in the game. It's a sign that he doesn't think the game is too important and he can risk a defeat. And I think that's the attitude Villa went out with tonight. As we saw the last one, the first card for Sidwell. Yeah. The second one, I don't think he made much contact. You see there, a little touch on the top of Jarlin's neck, and he went down as if a sniper got him. You know, so maybe it was a bit harsh, but they didn't play well, as Brian said, and probably the most disappointing aspect was that Young and Cuellar, who are regulars in his back four currently, were two of their poorer players. If there was a positive, it doesn't look like any of the three main men, Sidwell, Young and Cuellar, got injured. That is the only positive they can take from the game. And that when they put out their best team, as they showed against Ajax, they can beat them.
Is it a possibility that one or two of those are inching themselves toward the exit door in January with a performance like that at this time?
Well, I think there is. I mean, I think Harewood especially so. There's a lot of talk about him, and I think, you know, when that talk is there's generally something going on behind the scenes. I think the others are still very much part of what Martin's plans are, you know. But I think tonight proves
Brian,
that...
it's hard to see much hope for Salafu and Gardner on that performance tonight. Rio Coker's on the edge of it, you know.
I think
really,
some of the younger... No, I keep calling
Salafu
a younger player, which we know he's not.
25, 26,
I think Gardner's still very much part of his plans. I really do think that. I think there are a couple out there who aren't. And Martin, to really go to the next step, needs a bigger squad. He knows that. At the moment, he's got a decent group of players who get on well and they have a good atmosphere, and he is totally respected by them, and that's their big plus point at this moment in time. But in terms of an overall depth of quality, they haven't quite got that yet.
Isn't there?
The other results in the UEFA Cup. In Group E, Milan 2, Wolfsburg 2, and Portsmouth beat Heerenveen 3-0 to lift spirits there, but the 3 through from that section headed by Wolfsburg, Milan and Braga of Portugal. OK, well, we'll leave it there. There are a couple more groups which we'll come back to if we can a little bit later on. Apologies for that. Elsewhere in the game today, Sam Allardyce in at Blackburn. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it's in their position, and they are, you know, 1 or 2 points lower than they need to be at this. They're not really in the pack, are they, at the moment? And I think it's a good appointment because Sam is organised, he is disciplined, he's very scientific. I think they've got to get back to having that organisation. Mark Hughes had them spot on. I feel sorry for Paul Ince because I think it was a great opportunity for him, but it hasn't worked, and you don't get too many chances at that level. But I think Sam is the right sort of person for that job. What
about Ince's plight at this moment, Brian? When you get the opportunity at Premier League level and it goes wrong so quickly, does it mean...
No, I don't think he's out of it. I do feel sorry for him because, you know, 2 or 3 years back when he went to Macclesfield and took that job on, I really applauded him from a distance. You know, there he is, massive star in the big game, went right to the very bottom rung at a team that was 6 or 7 or 8 points behind the others and rescued them and did a great job at Milton Keynes. So he deserved his chance. I feel quite sad for him that hasn't worked, but 11 games without a win in the Premier League, and not many people survive that.
You know a lot of people at Blackburn. Are you surprised by the decision?
Not in the current climate. Very good people at the club. The chairman, Williams, a decent man. Tom Finn, the secretary. They're good people there, and they've been very steady club. They haven't been a jumpy club. Mark Hughes had a good spell there, a long time. Graham Sinnes before that. But I think in the circumstances, the panic there is in relation to the possible relegation from the Premier League at the moment has spread through any of the clubs that are kind of outside the top 6 or 7 at the moment. And I think the fact that the transfer window is so limited now as it is in January, and if you stick with a manager and you allow him to buy the players, and if it doesn't turn out well for him in January, then you're in further trouble because he's made decisions to spend more money. So I think that added to the pressure on Paul Ince, and I understand the way it went that way.
Brian, take the case of Tottenham Hotspur. In the last year, we've essentially gone through 2 entire changes of staff at Spurs, and they're actually lower down, even though this Redknapp revolution is well underway now and it's thrilling. Tottenham are actually lower down the league they were when they let Martin Jol go, in October of the previous season. Well, the argument is always that it becomes self-defeating if you keep changing the manager.
Yeah, but I think their basic philosophy is wrong in terms of the type of coach they want and the structure they wanted to have. Going back to the Jacques Santini appointment, which at that time, it kind of came out of nowhere. Why? What was the reasoning on that one? The man came in, he had very little English. They also surrounded him at that time with other people. Martin Jol was probably 3rd or 4th in line in the staff at the time because he brought in another French lad. Frank Arneson was around the scene. His role wasn't exactly clear. And then they've continued on with that and gone, you know, they've gone on since that. Martin Jol, now we'll go for another foreign manager. And when you come into a different environment, it takes you time to find out what's going on. If a manager moves from one country to the other and he hasn't been in that country too often. I mean, how frequently had Jacques Santini seen any matches in England? Martin Jol had been there as a player, but he'd been back in Holland for a good while.
Yeah, I guess you won't get this problem with Allardyce going into Blackburn.
Not at all. I think that's a good appointment. As I think Brian, we were talking off screen, Brian said he'd obviously been told he wasn't going to get the Sunderland job, and that looks like...
Well, it does.
You're right. No, it does, because it looked like he was in with a good shout on that one, and then we suddenly... But Blackburn's a decent one.
Apparently, you know more about this than I, but there is some smart money around for Martin Jol, apparently doing quite a good job at Hamburg, as we've just seen this evening, maybe on Sunderland's radar at this minute. Why would he swap what he's got going at Hamburg that we've seen tonight for potential relegation scrap just to get back involved in the Premier League?
I don't understand that one. And some of the comments he's made have been kind of double-edged. Like, I'm kind of happy at Hamburg if we sign another couple of players, but I wouldn't...
Well, all you managers play that game when it's time to get the chequebook out.
Well, they don't. They don't. A lot of managers have been very consistent. Like Martin O'Neill, when he's been in the job, you know he's in the job and he'll stick with it until you know, the time is up in the job. He stuck around Leicester when there was jobs going everywhere for him. He stuck around Celtic. So not everybody's like that. But I don't think Martin Jol, I think he's a good fella, and I don't think he'll leave Hamburg in the position you're in for the very reasons you said. They're still going to the UEFA Cup. They're only 2 points off the top of the league. There may well be the possibility of getting in a couple of players. And when you look at the German league, it's competitive, but it doesn't seem to be an outstanding team. Bayern Munich are a level behind on goal difference at the moment at the top of the table to a team that's been just promoted. So they have a realistic chance of winning the league this year.
So who might be in for Sunderland?
Well, I think,
if it's not to
as
be
ever,
on?
you know, the comments we see in the media are generally people just testing the water, you know, and saying, oh, yes, I might be interested, and then seeing how much of a reaction they get. At the moment, there doesn't seem to be too much concrete news coming out of Sunderland. At the moment, Ricky Sprague is very much in the pole position, you know. Like Phil Brown, spent a lot of time in the Premier League underneath top managers, potentially could be the man to just take it on.
There was a difference, though, because Phil Brown had been the established assistant to Allardyce, actually, for all those years, you know, and he did share, apparently, quite a lot of the work.
And he had gone to Derby, and it didn't go well for him, and he needed to take a job to get himself back in.
That's right.
And he's spoken very eloquently about the spell being out of the game, and then went into Hull and circumstances.
But I think Ricky Sprague has the perfect mentor in that respect in terms of Sir Alex Ferguson. Spent a lot of years there and worked at Bolton as well.
I'll tell you the other thing that's true. You know, if neither of you two really have a clue, then we've got no chance.
Yeah, I think Sunderland's a fascinating one, and it is still a very, very good job based on they and 12 other teams are still in the relegation fight.
Thank you both for being with us. Thank you very much indeed to Brian and to Brian. We might learn more over the next 48 hours or so. Manchester United are first up, live in the FIFA Club World Cup. They meet Gamba Osaka. You can see it with us tomorrow morning, 10:25. Repeats at 6:30 and 9 p.m. And just to remind you that if United do win that, the final will also be live on Sunday morning. But to Premier League business, Hull City Sunderland, Saturday, 2:25. Sprague is still in charge, we expect. And West Ham are next up for Aston Villa. That's the second of our 2 live Premier League games this coming Saturday. Thank you very much for being with us this evening. Aston Villa will go to Upton Park, hoping to show they're something like their best after tonight.